Okay, hi guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of the Endless to Renshuu. This is me and a bunch of guys that I know playing Endless Battle, just practicing. This is one of the guys that I originally started playing Street Fighter with a long time ago. He's used Abel for like ever. His Abel is quite unique, a bit different from most others. Um, he generally plays a kind of defensive game, but he uses the role very effectively. The one thing that I'll say about fighting against Abel as a Goken is you really have to be careful about his wheel kick. His wheel kick is, you know, one of the thorns in your side, but obviously I got him in a corner and I'm doing damage, so no need for the wheel kick. One of my friends told me, you have to be more aggressive, because I've been playing a lot of defensive characters and defensive people, and I've picked up kind of defensive style myself, so I'm trying to be a bit more aggressive, just so that I don't give the opponent too much time to think, so that they can plan their next move. So far it's paying off pretty well. Like I said, I've been playing this guy for quite a long time, so we know a lot about each other and each other's habits. So quite a few times I know what he's looking for. I kind of got lucky right there. I don't really know what happened there. I just kind of, let that round go. I should have gotten hit by that ultra. That's really, the truth. But it's endless. So just have fun, just practice, and learn something. Learn as much as you can. I would say if you have people to practice with, it's always better to learn as much as you can and practice with them, and not get salty if you're in a tournament or if you're learning how to play online or whatever in ranked matches, because points for some people matter. It's kind of difficult to zone Abel with that role because it's pretty invincible, so the fireball game is not necessarily in Goken's interest unless you can time it, or if you know exactly what's going to happen. The wheel kick also goes through fireballs, so like I said, that wheel kick is really a pain in the backside for Goken. It breaks armor, it gets a lot of priority, it's good range, it's a really good move. And like I said, he's kind of defensive, and he'll go in for the hit and then he'll run away. But I guess he wasn't expecting the cross up and took the loss. So lucky for me, I got the win. So moving on, I guess since this is endless, he's back again. It's the same guy, same character.
Are you ready? Fight!
And somewhere in the endless battle, I lost somewhere, and he got the win. So we're fighting again. I don't know what that kick was. I probably was trying to do something and missed it. Luckily I got the dizzy, and that's it. Perfect. Usually people will say you initially play the character on character mashup, but then after a while you start playing your opponent. And like I said, that's pretty much what this is. It's me playing the opponent, not necessarily the character. I know what Abel's strengths are, and a few of his weaknesses, the character weaknesses, and the player weaknesses as well. And like I said, that role is, it's a good thing for Abel, but it also leaves him open. If you have an Abel coming at you with the roll, you can pretty much do the fierce kick, and kick him out of it. That really sucked. That really sucked. Yeah, I wasn't even looking at his ultra, and I was guessing he had ultra 2, and he had ultra 1. He got me to the fireball, but luckily I anticipated him doing the kick, the wheel kick, and I got him with the yellow Tatsu. So if you are having issues with people who use the wheel kick a bit often, if you time the yellow Tatsu right, you can get them. Again, here we go with Guy. Guy, I'd say Guy is more problematic than Abel, just because of his speed. His normals are really quick, and he has a ton of ways to get around fireballs. I mean, like a ton. I would say if you can stay in a pretty good distance with a guy, if he is running at you, you really don't know what he's going to do. He has a slide, he has an overhead wheel kick similar to Abel's. There you go. And he also has an air grab like Goki and Goken's air grab. There it is, right on cue. Luckily I jumped out of the way of that ultra, but that could have been a huge problem. And I lost it anyway. But you always have to be on your toes with Guy because he's really quick. He's got a lot of really good mix-up, and his cross-up is super ambiguous. And if you're not used to fighting Guy, I would say try to find some pretty decent guys to practice on, because his mix-ups and his cross-ups are pretty good, especially against Goken, because he doesn't have, you know, too much in terms of ways of getting around things. And I'm eating an ultra. Beautiful. I use the crouching short kick just to kind of get him off me a little bit. If you see him do that slide, maybe you might have noticed in the first round, you do the sweep to punish. I probably did a crouching low kick just to, you know, keep some of that pressure off of me, and we traded and I won. So here's the final round. You always have to be careful of that air grab, because that thing will take a good chunk of life off, and there's not too much that, you know, Goken can do. If Guy comes in with the air elbow, you really can't touch Guy when he's, you know, coming down in that air bow. That was almost a perfect. So one of those situations of doing things right. You know, as a player, sometimes you do things right, you guess right, and you get pretty good damage. Goken deals really good damage, so that's always, you know, something to watch out for. If you can get max combo, then go for it. You know, don't always try to show off or, you know, do something because you think a character might, you know, not be as good as you are, but you never know what could happen, because one really good mix-up could lead into another good mix-up, and then you could be out. So here we go with the Abel again. This is the last match for this video, and I'm pretty much stalking him just like I did in the other videos, the other matches. He missed his grab and got the air grab. Almost had a perfect. Yeah, and that's the one thing you just need to watch out for with Abel, is the overhead punch into, I think there's another punch, and then he does a grab. There's the regular grab that you have to block standing up, and there's another one that you have to block crouching, and then he has a kick that not too many Abels use, but it's there and it's really good, so just kind of be wary of that. Trying to apply a bit of pressure. He rolls in and gets the grab. That's the one thing about a lot of Abels, they will roll in on you and get an empty grab, or do the step kick and get another grab. So here we are just jumping around and trying to space each other basically. It doesn't look like much spacing because he likes to jump away just to deceive you so that if you move forward, he'll probably roll at you and grab you. That's kind of what I'm noticing is, you know, you really have to be careful. There you go. You really have to be careful with Abel and that roll because it's ultra deceptive. You get grabbed and that's it. That grab does a lot of damage. You really don't want to get caught into one of those traps because I've had an Abel, a really good Abel, basically lock me down with just the grab. And we do the step kick and the grab, and then Goken's wake up game isn't that great, so another step kick and a grab, and another step kick and a grab. After a few of those, you're pretty much gone. So with Abel, you do have to be careful of his setups and his grabs. Right there was a pretty good range. Abel couldn't do too much. He could roll, and even if he did roll, I could punish him with the roundhouse kick. And I get him on troll. He's beating the hell out of me. Luckily, the damage has been toned down from Arcade Edition to 2012. Who knows what will happen with the update. And here we go with that aggressive Abel going in for those grabs. You never know what could happen. Figured he was waiting after he did all that blocking and got him with the throw, and then here we go. Swept him when he was trying to do a grab. Abels do like to grab, so just watch out for that. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks.